Yeah, so that exercise is freaking dog shit. It's like, I don't even know what it's training. It's like, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be going over Dr. Mike Israetel because he hates some freaking exercises, or maybe doesn't hate them, but he thinks they're dog shit. So I'm gonna be going over that today and giving you my opinion on whether I think those exercises he is listing are actually dog shit, or maybe if they're good or whatever. So I haven't watched the video yet, so I have no idea what to expect, but I'm seeing a plank right in the title, so I can already imagine that that's going to be on his list.
Our first exercise that sucks is the plank. Now here, this whole time I thought a plank was just a board of wood.
Yeah, for the most part, I got to agree there. I think a plank is pretty dog shit for hypertrophy anyways. Now, maybe in, like, let's say I used to train calisthenics, and core strength anyway is quite important in calisthenics and stuff. You know, in calisthenics you do like a front lever or whatever, like that is an isometric movement where you have to contract your core. So I do think a plank can be beneficial for some things, but for hypertrophy training specifically, no, because you're not taking the muscles through a full range of motion. It's just an isometric contraction. He goes on about that, but I do think in like a calisthenics sense anyway, I think it can be pretty useful. Apart from that, I think it's pretty dog shit though, so got to agree on that one.
Sucks because it doesn't grow a ton of muscle. It hurts a lot. Minimal equipment, I guess that's nice, but what if you want something better? We'll have just the thing for you. Anything else? I kid, we can do better than that. And that better than that is called the ab rollout. The ab rollout is actually an incredible ab exercise. Why? It allows you a huge range of motion, which is always awesome.
Yeah, so if you are going to do an ab exercise for hypertrophy, I do think the ab rollout is a lot better. And you know, if you want to go into more detail about that, I'll have his video linked in the description, but it's better because you're actually going through a range of motion. Now, is it my number one pick if I was going to train abs? Probably not. Why? Because it's really, most people can't do it because it's really freaking challenging, and two, I think it's hard to progressive overload on. So I think it's good, but a better exercise, what I think, would be like a decline crunch, or where you can like hold a weight so you can progressive overload easily. And if you can't do a decline crunch yet, you can just do regular crunches on the ground, or some kind of hanging leg raise. And if you can't do a hanging leg raise, you can do a hanging knee raise or something like that. I think if you are going to train abs, you want one movement where you're crunching down like this, and then another one where you're bringing your legs up. But personally for me, I don't train abs. I think it's pretty useless unless, again, for bodybuilding purposes, because when you do a squat or like a lat pull down or a lat pull over, whatever, I feel my abs flexing all the time. My abs are arguably my best body part, and I literally don't train them at all. So I don't think you have to train abs, but I do think the ab roller is a fine exercise, but definitely not my best.
Praise, because he has a stupid exercise named after him, and it's called the Superman. Now, the Superman is this thing which you sort of lay down on the ground like the pathetic, just totally irrelevant animal that you are, getting dust all over yourself, and then you pretend for a second that you're flying in the Superman position.
Yeah, so that exercise is freaking dog shit. It's like, I don't even know what it's training. It's like training your lower back, but like he says this in the video, the range of motion is so low, you can't progressive overload. If you're doing this, I don't care what sport it is, whatever, it is dog shit. Stop doing it. It's a waste of freaking time.
That I want you to try replacing Supermans with. That exercise is called the flexion row. It can be done with cables or dumbbells or barbells, but the flexion row offers a ton of actual movement.
Okay, so again, I do think the flexion row is a great exercise for just the whole back, the entire back as a whole, because you're extending your hips and you're flexing at your, whatever, your back or whatever, you're bending down, so your lower back or your spinal erectors are going to get engaged a lot from that. And then you're doing a row, so your lats, rhomboids, and traps are also going to be engaged heavily. The only thing is, I think lower back training is like literally also stupid. So for me anyway, if you're trying to train the back, I always like a chest supported row, because let's be honest, when you do squats or you do RDLs, your lower back is getting freaking hammered. When I trained legs last, my lower back was freaking sore. And I mean, I wasn't directly trying to train it, but it's just sore. So I feel like if you start doing all these bent rows and the flexion row like he's doing, it's going to really overtrain your lower back. But if you do want to get some more lower back engagement and train the traps, rhomboids, and lats, I do think it's great. But overall, when I'm training the back, I'm really not focusing on the lower back. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to get that Christmas tree, so I got to work that lower back. That's not actually how you get the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree really comes when you develop your lats so it sticks out, and then it gives that illusion of where the lats insert, so you get that tree there. It's not actually from training your spinal erectors. I mean, if they're a weakness for you, sure, but for the most people, I don't think you need to be doing that. I always like a chest supported row.
Exercise number 3 that you should probably reconsider doing is the rack pull. The rack pull looks like this. You take a barbell, you put it on a nice high rack so that you can delude yourself into thinking you're strong, and by leverage and ego alone, you stand up.
So the rack pull might literally be the stupidest exercise created by mankind. It's basically a deadlift with 1/9 the range of motion. So you're I don't even know what you're freaking training. It's just like, what? Like, I don't even know. It's the stupidest, most ego-driven exercise I've ever seen in my entire life. And whenever you see someone doing it at the gym, it's to impress the chick right next to him that's never even noticed the guy anyway. So it doesn't freaking matter. Put your ego aside. The girls at the gym are not looking at you because you're pulling 10 plates on a freaking rack pull. It's the stupidest exercise. It's dog shit. It's not great for muscle growth. It's just trash. Stop doing the rack pull. And he goes on in the video where he goes, oh, deadlifters or whatever, they used to do this to increase their lockout strength. But then he also says that it's actually better to do deadlifts in a deficit to increase the strength going up. I mean, I guess people are usually stronger in the last half of the range of motion on the deadlift. I'm not too sure. But when I see people doing rack pulls, I can't help but cringe. It's so freaking dumb.
Really nasty one that you're sure to hate. Hate in the sense that it makes you too jacked to figure out what's going on, that is. The snatch grip deficit deadlift will do 2 things. 1, it will beat the living shit out of your back in the best way possible with spinal flexion and spinal extension.
Yeah, so that deficit deadlift or whatever, again, yeah, that will beef up those spinal erectors for sure. And that's also one of the reasons, like, if you're doing all these deadlifts and stuff, like, I really feel like you don't need any more lower back training, going back to the previous point on one of the flexion row. But yeah, it's going to beef up the lower back. For me, I always find the deadlift as training my legs a lot more than my back. But hey, that's just me. I know my dad anyway. He's always, deadlifts, back exercise. For me, they've always been a leg exercise. That's what's actually going through the range of motion. But it will also beef up those spinal erectors, which are technically a part of your back. But when I think about training back, I always think rhomboids, traps, and lats, and not so much my spinal erectors. But if you're including that as a part of the back, which it is, then yes, it will beef up that part of your back, but it will also hit a lot of your glutes and hamstrings. And I also really do like that he's doing it in a deficit to increase that range of motion. That's definitely going to get you some more hypertrophy.
Our fourth, also stupid exercise that you should probably consider doing is a tricep kickback. The tricep kickback sounds like you're getting something. Usually kickbacks mean you receive something, like money. Except for tricep kickbacks, you get usually just kind of sore elbows and disappointment.
Have to agree again there. Tricep kickbacks, I never do it. I used to, or no, I didn't even used to do it when I first started doing weights. No, I always found this exercise is freaking dog shit. The resistance profile is dog shit. You get no tension in the stretch, and it's all in the contraction. It feels awkward. You got to do one arm at a time. God, you couldn't even make this shit up. It's just ass. Straight dog shit, going in the bin. Never do it.
But you know what works better? Every other tricep exercise. And the dumbbell skull crusher is at the top of my list.
Could have just ended it right there. He didn't even have to mention the dumbbell skull crusher. He could have just been like any other tricep exercise and it would have been better. It's literally the worst exercise you can do for your triceps. Now, with the dumbbell skull crusher, I do think it's a great exercise. Personally, for me, I don't really like using dumbbells. I find it a little bit more awkward. I prefer using the easy bar, but I definitely think skull crushers in general are a great option. If I were to pick a number one exercise for the triceps though, it would probably be the cable overhead tricep extension. I just like it. It's more stable, I feel more locked in, and I do think the resistance profile is slightly better. You get a little bit more tension throughout the whole range of motion. But skull crusher is definitely a great exercise. Gonna really target the stretch because you're going overhead, which is the exact opposite of the tricep kickback. So good exercise, just not the best for me. Way freaking better than the kickback though. And you get to do both arms at the same time, so it saves on time.
Our final exercise for today that you should really, really reconsider doing if you're doing it at all, and if you've posted about it on Instagram, you still got time to delete the post. This lift is the one arm at a time dumbbell press.
What the f? I didn't even know people did that shit. What the shit? Let me tell you why this is freaking dog shit. So if you're doing one arm like this and like this, why didn't you just do this?
I got a real weird suggestion for you that might hit different. A regular dumbbell press with both arms. It turns out that instead of fatiguing one arm and then fatiguing the other while the other trains, you can just train them both at the same time. It solves two problems. One, the training the other arm problem, and two, the balance problem.
God, I freaking love that final answer from Mike there. That is quality. Yeah, if you're doing the one arm bullshit at a time, you can never really align yourself in a way where you can even get the most out of any one arm. Like, at least, if you're, let's say you're doing like a machine press and you're just doing, if you go all out on one arm, you can kind of position yourself in a way so that like the balance is better. But if you're doing this and then this, you can't really align yourself in a way where you can get the most out of any one arm. So it's just so stupid. Yeah, I love that final answer. Definitely a regular dumbbell press is definitely way better. I'm like doing a stint of dumbbell press right now too. So freaking love that exercise. But that's gonna have to wrap it up. Thank you, Dr. Mike. Those exercises are pretty dog shit, and I would not recommend that you really do them unless maybe the plank. The plank I think is not too bad. Again, if you're doing like calisthenics and those static holds, I think that can help build strength for that. But other than that, all the other ones are pretty dog shit. So thanks, Dr. Mike. I'll have his video linked in the description if you want to, know more about why those exercises are trash and the benefits of the good exercises. I pretty much just skimped over it and voiced my opinion on it. But that's going to have to wrap up this video. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.